everyone, and welcome to Dog Days, where we talk about all things cannabis. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Holly B, and today we have a very special guest in the doghouse. We're going to be talking about business strategies, and we have the founder of the Consulting Joint here with us, Pooja Aphale, and she goes by Ja. Did
Hi,
I say
Holly.
that right?
Yes, you said it perfectly. So nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on. Ja. That just,
Rolls off the tongue.
that's so, the cannabis community is going to love that. Just by
I love it. I love it.
So something a little bit different in the doghouse today. Not necessarily a plant touching business. However, it is a business, and ancillaries are so important to the cannabis industry. It's what greases the wheels of what needs to happen. And so this, what we're going to talk about today is very important.
Thanks so much, Holly. Yes, I absolutely agree. Although sometimes I like to say maybe the plant touching folks have more fun. It's also super exciting to be on the ancillary side to bring knowledge from other industries into cannabis and just be part of the revolution.
Absolutely. Standing side by side. This is great. So what got you into the cannabis industry? What was your aha moment? Like, hey, I want to start, dealing with cannabis and helping businesses do their thing.
That's a great question. Well, it first started when I moved to San Francisco 10 years ago. I actually just celebrated my 10-year anniversary on the 4th of July. It's kind of a metaphor, right? I got my independence from where I moved from, which is North Carolina. So I was living in the South almost all my life before San Francisco. I flew out here, started in consulting, spent a couple years in that and started working for Walmart.com. Suddenly learned the whole landscape of retail. And at that time, I was thinking, what is in my adjacent possible? How can I mix 3 or 4 things that I've come to know and reach something just outside of that intersection? And so I landed on cannabis consulting. Cannabis is a consumer packaged good. It utilizes technology, it has customers, and I wanted to bring my knowledge from consulting and retail into a burgeoning industry.
Very cool. So, Pooja is not a name that you hear very commonly. What is your background? Where are you coming Where are you coming from?
Yes. So Pooja, it used to be a very common name in the 90s
Oh,
in
okay,
India.
cool.
Some of my parents, yeah, they immigrated here in the 80s. And I guess we lived in Canada, we lived in the Northeast, we lived in the South. Now we're all out here in the Bay. So I actually coined a name for us. I call us the Bay Fales. We're the Aphales around the Bay. So yeah, my heritage is Indian, and that's where the name Pooja comes from.
Very cool. And we're talking to a military type of audience, so the whole moving around thing, totally get that for sure. And then coming from different backgrounds and whatnot. So consulting. So your background is you started with Walmart and then kind of decided to go into the cannabis part of it. So consulting, that's kind of like a broad brush word for a lot of moving parts, right?
Yes, consulting can be a little bit of anything, but basically the crux of it is being an advisor, bringing your knowledge to someone who wants to make a decision. And although that can be a myriad of things, where I focus mostly is customer insights. So how can we help this retail company increase their revenue by focusing on their customers? Because whether it's cannabis or shampoo, the consumer packaged good industry just is so competitive. Your other businesses that you're competing with have similar products. You might have a similar discounting strategy. So, how do you really stand out? And my belief is that if you focus with the customer, you become their go to retailer. Why would they even have to think about what choice to make?
I really like that. And it's dog eat dog out there as far as, and then you have the small mom and pops, and then you have the big MSOs that are coming in and that sort of thing. So there's kind of like a David and Goliath type thing. So you could possibly help a David type situation fight a Goliath, or kind of maneuver around or be able to survive around a Goliath.
Absolutely. And I think the key to focusing on the customer is everyone is different. So everyone has a place in the market if they really attend to what their specific type of customer needs.
Nice. That's awesome. That's cool. I love it. So you're the founder of this company. So how many employees do you have? Have you been around for a while?
Um, I have been around since 2019. I wish that was, it feels a lot more recent than it was, but I guess it's been several years now. I don't have official employees right now. I have family and friends who help out here and there, but it's just me, one woman show.
Hey, you got to start somewhere, and there's, which I'm kind of in the same boat, I'm just kind of a one woman show, but I'm having a great time, and pushing the word out there, getting the word out about cannabis and the industry, and it's okay. And that's what we do, right?
I mean, yeah, one woman show for now, always eyeing expansion,
Yeah.
if the opportunity, right.
I totally agree with that. Hey, we're going to take a really quick break. I'm going to run a couple of, to help pay some bills here. So play a couple of commercials, and we'll be right back, and we'll get into the real nitty gritty of your company. We'll be right back. welcome back, everybody. We have Ja in the doghouse, and she is the founder of an awesome consulting company. It is called The Joint, the Consulting Joint. And I apologize. I just kind of touched something here, and everything has disappeared. So hold on just a second, folks. Hey, sound guy.
Okay. You remember the best part of the name, the joint part.
Oh, holy cow, what happened here? Hey, sound guy, can you do the we'll be right back? And I will try to get my screen back on. I apologize, Ja. We'll be right back. Hold on. Oh my gosh, that was so crazy. This Mac thing is just crazy, and I now I can't find the other one. But you know what? That's okay. We're gonna just roll with the punches here. I apologize.
Keep it rolling.
Keep it keep it rolling. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and let's see. Since I can't get to your slides, I'm gonna let's see. How am I going to do this now? Add to state. Let's see what that does. Will it?
Oh, there it
Okay,
is.
it does work, even though I can't see it.
No, it's up there. That's great. Yeah, thanks for getting that up there. Well, yeah, why don't we just continue right where we left off when we were talking about how consumers have so many choices now. They're inundated with
Yes.
choices,
Yes. Yes.
and they don't know where to spend their money, right? So how can retailers get their attention and not make it such a hard choice anymore?
Yes.
And so that's why focusing on customer insights super important. It's that opportunity for cannabis retailers to stand out and just gain that competitive advantage, especially in this market. So you might be asking, how the heck do we get started? So on the next slide, I have a little diagram there. I'll talk through it. Um, it's really, it looks somewhat complicated, but it can be really simple if you just look at a few numbers, few data points in information you probably already have. So a couple I outlined there is cart size. So how big is the cart that people are buying? The mix, what types of products do people buy together? The repeat orders, is there a consistent product being bought over and over? And then the different types of products. Maybe you sell a lot of flour, but you could do a little bit better on the vapes. So if you just look at a couple of these numbers, you'll start to notice groups of customers that are going to start emerging. So maybe there's that customer who always purchases similar products every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, they get an eighth of flour, and that's their lifestyle. And maybe there's another customer who only purchases one type of product. Let's say they only purchase joints. Maybe they could be purchasing something else. They just don't have education. They don't know it could work for them. You don't know yet. And so you have to identify these groups to figure out how you can get more information on them. And so that's first dark green block there. And now once you move into the middle section of that slide, this is the best part. This is the revenue generating actions. So you have those groups, you're looking at your data, and now what can you do with it? There are a lot of things you can do, but I've outlined just a couple. So you can optimize your inventory. That's one of them. Let's say you notice your customers love a certain product and it's always out of stock, or your customers don't like a certain product and you have a bunch of it. How can you optimize that mix a little bit more? Something else you could do is provide tailored recommendations. So I know sometimes I'll get email or marketing campaigns from any type of retailer, and it's not actually aligned to what I even buy. So it's not even that it's related, it's just somewhere out. I would never even purchase that product. And so that's a quick delete or unsubscribe, which is not a great way to retain me as a customer. So providing those tailored suggestions, the only way you would know what to recommend is if you looked at the purchase history and you looked at those different customer groups. Another thing you can do, this is a little bit more complicated, but how often do you sign up for one of these programs with one of your favorite retailers, and then you enjoy discounts? Maybe they know your birthday. Maybe there's new products that other folks haven't tried yet, and you have an exclusive tasting. There's so many different things you can do with some sort of loyalty program.
Mm.
And then the last thing, which I don't want to say it's out there, but I haven't seen a retailer do it yet, is hosting in-person or virtual experiences, almost like
Ooh.
focus groups, right? Focus groups are maybe before your product or service is released, but I was just thinking, how do you build a community within your customers? And that way, it's not just the relationship with the retailer; it's actually the relationship with the community.
Mm.
I feel like that would feel good as a consumer. Okay, I've talked a lot. So those are a few steps. Is that how does that sound to you? Does that sound exciting?
Yes. It sounds very important and something that
Good.
that businesses kind of need to should be hopefully taking note of. Otherwise, they're going to get left behind.
Yes, yes. Someone else will capture the attention of your consumer, and who knows if they can attend to that niche as good as you can.
Yeah.
Only one way to find out. You have to look at the data. I actually have a little favorite phrase. Data is the best asset to validate or invalidate your decision making.
Mm.
It's kind of like, when you check the weather before you pick what you're going to wear. You might know it's summer, you might know, shorts or a dress is the right move,
Uh-huh.
but what if for some reason there's a freak storm that day and it rains,
I live in Wyoming,
There's only
so
one.
that's a very real possibility.
There you go, there you go. Um, and so it's just like that, you may have a gut feeling, you may have a guided direction, but why not validate it?
Yeah.
Why not invalidate it? You just have to look at some data that you already have.
Awesome.
Um,
So how would a person go about collecting that data? Would we hire you and then you kind of look at my area? So do you deal with the whole country, or do you deal with the um, is it just San Francisco that you're kind of focusing on, or can anybody give you a call?
Yeah, great question. Anyone in a Canada legal state, I'm happy
Ah,
happy to work with those folks. A lot of this work, like much work out there these days, can be done remote.
yes.
So open to working with anyone in the nation. I will say a lot of my clients have been in San Francisco and in California specifically, but that's probably just because I'm here and chit-chatting with folks around here. And then you did ask how would someone collect this information? So the
Yes.
beauty of this is they probably already have it. A lot
Mm.
of this information is stored in POS, point of sale systems.
Oh.
Um, so you already have, the purchase history, and if you have like a feature where a customer can set up an account, then all those orders are tagged to someone's location or someone's name. So that information you likely already have. The information you might have to go and get if you don't already have it is sort of like the qualitative stuff, like customer feedback, how they feel about your company or your experience or your products. That you'd probably have to build what I call feedback collection mechanisms.
Mm.
Is that a survey through email?
Yes.
Is that a pop-up on the website? Do you go to Mission Dolores Park for anyone who's tuning in from San Francisco? That's kind of, the community square. Do you go there and ask people questions? Do you scrape social media? There's so many ways that you could get this information,
So you would
unless you have that thing.
so as a consultant, you would kind of guide them or give them suggestions? Do you do the oversight of the like the actual collection of the data? Like if they collected it through a survey, an online survey, would they push that to you and then you would crunch the numbers and maybe meet with them later and show them cool pie graphs that is maybe a little bit more palatable?
Totally, totally. I don't know about the pie graphs, but everything else is a yes. Um, it's all about, that information being discussed with me and that retailer, doing the analysis, presenting my observations and recommendations back to the retailer, and then working with teams that they already have on the ground. They likely already have someone who's doing a little bit of inventory or someone who's getting marketing started, and I can kind of be like a tack on to help guide folks in whatever direction they think the data is pointing them.
Awesome. So this is your last slide. Did you want to say a couple words on your last
Yes,
slide?
yes, I did.
Awesome.
So I want to talk about how long or short does all this take?
Yeah.
So this is just a proposed timeline. It all depends on the retailer, the amount of information they have, but it usually takes 1 to 3 months to get things going. I would say start with the analysis, get your customer groups identified, spend the first month really diving into that information, and then spend that second month trying out different revenue generating actions in parallel, stepwise, depends on how much bandwidth your team has. And then the third and fourth month, this is very important. It's all about analyzing what these decisions mean for your business. It's okay to pivot if something's not working, or it's wonderful to be validated to stay the course. So it's super important to make sure you close that loop and actually look back and make sure what you're doing is making sense. I think it's a little hard to see here. Maybe it was on the other slide. There's also a piece of this which is not like do it once and then that's it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a consistent habit, hygiene, if you will,
Mhm.
of every quarter looking at how your customers have changed, if they have. Did more folks move into the area? Did more folks move out? Did more folks start learning about your business? And so now you have a different type of clientele. So it's important every quarter, I would say, to look back, make sure the groups are either similar, and if they're not, now you have more actions to take.
Yeah, absolutely. That totally makes sense. The demographics and then also legislation too, you know? Some things that
100%.
California, what was it? The THC, there was a issue about something about the hemp products can't have any THC, or you guys are kind of batting around some legislation that was going to affect businesses and affect products and patients in your state.
A- Absolutely. And then I think recently, right now, there's a situation with extra tax
Oh, ugh.
bill on that. I know. More,
Right.
and that's the funny thing is the retailer actually bears the brunt of a lot of this because many folks know you see that receipt. It's not the normal sales tax that you pay on a dress or a pair of shoes. And right now consumers are willing to pay it, and I hope that one day things can change because, like we started out on this call, it's a consumer packaged good.
Yes.
It's a retail product, and everyone should treat it just like that.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Wow, I love this. You had charts and graphs and I love the talking points. This is good stuff, Ja. I'm going to take a really quick break. This does air on Citizen Green TV. Tribute to the troops. We'll come back and we'll check out your website.
Awesome.
Hang tight.
I was broken for a while. A drop of blood for every mile I'm on. I took all that they gave and lived to fight another day. But if today is all I get, I'll make my mark and you can bet that I'll never surrender. On this life, and I'll never surrender. On this life, I can't change the past, but I can change how the story turns. 'Cause it's not mistakes that make us, but the lessons learned. Because what doesn't kill me will make me stronger in the end. And I'll never surrender. On this life, and I'll never surrender. On this life, and even if I fall, I'll get back up, standing tall again, with a medal on my chest. God knows I've done my best, because what doesn't kill me will make me stronger in the end. And I'll never surrender. On this life, 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 on this life.
Hello and welcome back, everybody. We are having an awesome chat with Ja, and she is the founder of the Consulting Joint. I love that name. Can I ask, how'd you come up with that?
I don't know how I came up with that. Can I I'm just gonna have to say it's the creativity of the plant. Sometimes you get the best ideas, don't you? I do have a funny story though. I bought the domain name in 2015. So it took me 4 years to do something about it. I was just holding on to it. But yeah, when
I'll
you
be
think of a
honest with
good
you.
name by the domain name.
Yeah, it's genius. Actually, it fits. It's just perfect. So
Thank you. I
I'm
appreciate
looking at your website here, and let's see,
Yeah.
business growth at the intersection of data and strategy insights. Beautiful website you got going on here. So
you.
we're looking at your services down here. So looks like we have some customer data assessment. I believe that we kind of touched on that. Reporting strategy. Did you want to just kind of go through and give us a quick definition of your services here?
Yeah, sure. It is a little bit, it touches on more than the customer focus we had in this call, but kind of along the same lines of let's focus on information and data and how do we make a decision off of what we've observed. So the reporting strategy, a lot of the times folks want information and don't know how to get it, and they don't
Yeah.
care about everything. They just care about some things to make their job a little bit easier. And so, gathering requirements and making sure you can build out reports off the information you have is super important, just to make it more visible and attainable.
Yeah.
Product strategy is it's more along the lines of if your customer has feedback about a product or service, how do you take that back and tweak things a little
Mhm.
bit? Because a lot of times customers have wonderful feedback, and you really should listen so that you can make your product better and make more money.
Absolutely.
Um, some of the ones down below, a little bit less well known and less of it that I see in the market, but super, super important.
Mm.
Brand refresh. So maybe you don't have a lot of customers. Maybe you're just starting out with your product and service. Well, something to grab the attention of your customers is having the right logo, having the right colors, having the right brand
Mhm.
message. And so that's one of the services I offer. Competitive intel, who's who's in the landscape? Who are your competitors? Are they selling the same thing as you, selling something different? I actually did a pricing analysis for a large delivery provider. You might know them, Ease.
Mhm.
And so we're just looking at who are the other delivery services. They had the similar
Mhm.
products, and we noticed some of the similar products were priced higher on the East site. Some were priced lower, and then we had opportunities to increase or decrease pricing just to stay competitive. And the last one is building a data team. So a lot of folks, although they utilize consultants like myself to be add-ons and guide the company in the right direction, at some point they want to have things in-house. They want to make those decisions and be able to guide themselves.
Mhm.
So I just offer some advice on how to build a data team. How much money do you have to set aside? What's your budget? And who are the most important players?
Yeah. That's awesome. This is all very important stuff to keep you viable in the game and successful. Don't get left behind, folks.
100%. 100%.
So let's see, client successes. Let's see, Baton. Ooh, these are
Yeah.
some of the companies that you've helped there in
Some
the
of the
San
companies.
Francisco area.
Yes, yes. I think two of them are from Maryland, another
Yes.
growing cannabis region. And actually, most recently, I worked with the National Cannabis Industry Association. Their logo will pop up at some
Uh huh.
point. I'm offering a 1 hour free consultation for any NCIA members, just as a thank you
Oh,
to that
whoa,
group of
that's
folks.
way
Um,
cool. 1 hour of free
I will
consultation.
with Ja. Yes, I will say. I was gonna share a little surprise, but maybe this is a good time to do right now. If you scroll all the way down, you see that Let's Collaborate section. If folks tuning in want to have a consultation themselves, want to learn a little bit more, because I'm on this podcast, I'll also offer a 1 hour free consultation for anyone who types in that they tuned in from Dog Days.
You're amazing. I love that. Thank you so much. That's very generous of you. So, folks, if any of this resonates, and it should, if you're a business out there, in the industry, please take advantage of the 1 hour free consultation with Jaw. It's definitely going to be worth it. It would be the smart thing to do. That's amazing. Thank you so much for that. Holy cow. You've just been a trooper throughout this whole thing. We were talking a little bit before the show started, and I said, well, you know what? If you really don't like something, we'll edit it out. And if it flubs up or something, it adds to the richness of it. And I was the one who stumbled. And you have just been you kept her cool. You were rolling with it. The show must go on. So, hey, I really appreciate that. So yeah, is there anything else you would like to share with our audience here? It's been a lot of fun. This can get a little overwhelming. We're talking about business and competition and numbers and crunching data and all that kind of stuff. It's been a pleasure talking with you, though. Is there anything you would like to leave with the audience?
Well, first, I'd like to say thank you, Holly, and thank you, the Dog Days platform, for having me and hearing me talk about all this business stuff. I did want to also just say, coming from North Carolina, growing up there almost 2 decades, in a time where cannabis was not legalized, was not widely accepted by business or society. I just want to say a big thanks to everyone who's been fighting for legalization and everyone who respects the plant for exactly what it is. And that's to help all of us attain a greater form of wellness.
I totally agree. It's been a pleasure having you on. Thank you for sharing your insights. Folks, please check out our website, 1 Hour with Jaw. If you are in the cannabis industry in any way, shape, or form, it's definitely worth checking her out. It's been a pleasure. And stay safe out there, everybody. Until next time.
Thanks, Holly. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.